Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Elsie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Damaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Tasman inside.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther the Third, and now from the top of Metal Mountain all the way down to all 50 states and the globe is the Happy Heel himself.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
Kyle, give me water.
Couple of quick announcements real quick.
Oh, yes.
Dudes at Ringside podcast is now available on Pinterest. So to watch all the clips from Dudes at Ringside podcast, please download the Pinterest app and make sure you follow us on Pinterest, please.
And pop up the breaking news really quick, Googans.
Got a couple breaking news, right?
Yes.
More than one.
This is going to make a clip. If you did not see the thing on Instagram today, hey, Vinny, we have breaking news, Mr. Vinny, and also Mr. Geekins in the corner. That way. John's Crazy Socks and his dad will be on Dudes at Ringside podcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Be here. Make sure you have your crazy socks on. And Geek, what's our next breaking news?
Breaking news. What's next, Joe? Go ahead. Keep going.
I don't remember.
Damn it! I told you about the Pinterest already. So
we already did the Pinterest. John's Crazy Socks, and let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside podcast welcome to Red Dog.
Red Dog.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. Even though we put the wrong name of the podcast, we blanked and thought you were part of Three Count. We're like,
no, 100%. Like I am part of Three Count. Like, and my best friend and the host of the debate show will tell you that he doesn't run shit. He doesn't do shit. He just talks shit because I'm the one that does all of the stuff behind the scenes. So like. Yeah. He's my great friend, but I'm the guy behind the scenes.
Yeah. So right now, I guess the international fans, they already know you because you interviewed our lovely guest from last night, Kiara. But again, if the international and if the Ringside Crew are not familiar with you, introduce yourself, sir.
Of course, I am the Air Force veteran intel specialist, the one you call on when you need to get the job done, and the champion of chit chat, and your friendly neighborhood Red Dog. So if you don't know, I'm also the Donnie Wahlberg of the Three Count podcast because I'm old, but a little sexy.
So who trained you?
I'm trying my best here. You know what I mean? Like people. Yeah. I got told at a show that I look like Donnie Wahlberg, and a bunch of people will not let me live it down now. So I was like, this is a terrible comparison, but I guess for now I'll just take it.
I guess it's part of your gimmick now. There you go.
Yeah, I gotta just include it and just write.
One day, Donnie Wahlberg's gonna go, man, he looks nothing like me. What is wrong with you?
I know. I'm gonna be like, hey, thank you so much, Donnie.
He's gonna step on your face by going step by step. No, man.
Be like, no. Like if it's not Blue Bloods, like I'm not acknowledging it.
So, Red Dog, who trained you?
Yo, so actually, it's funny. My trainer is sickened over in Maryland. He has been now for like the last 2 years. I have never really stopped training. But yeah, he's the guy. His trainer was actually Ruckus. So
wow,
GCW Indie Hall of Fame legend himself. And I've actually been able to, Yeah, in CZW, like he's been all around the world and back. Like, let's be for real, give him all the flowers that he deserves because he is a Hall of Famer. But yeah, so I got to share a couple sessions with Ruckus and learn from him and pick his brain, and just it's cool. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of all your guests you've had on your show and your friend's show, which has been like your favorite one you've had to interview?
I've had this question asked to me a few times. The thing is that it's really hard because and I'm sure you guys run into the same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like picking your favorite kid, right?
Yeah.
It's just something that you can't do. I could talk about highlights that I've had with many different guests, right? Whether it was having TJP as our 50th guest, which was super cool.
That's cool.
Or being able to talk to the Danger Hawk himself, right? It was so cool having Dennis Morgan on as our 150th, Chris Van Vliet, being our 200th guest, reaching out and talking with Shane Taylor, and then having all the guys from STP on the show, Kylan King, Kai McKenna was another person I was really excited to have. The guys are prolific, right? So Tyree Taylor and Isaiah Wolf and Marquise Marquis, Marcus Marquis, like all those guys were so much fun to have on. So like the cool thing about the podcast is that because I've been in just a short amount of time, right? I've been out to go out and grab so many cool mentors and people who have now taken an invest in me to help me develop and be, at a level that I don't think I would be at, if I was there by myself, right? A person I talk to all the time, Gino Told You So. I reach out to him. I just shoot him a message. I ask him questions. He answers me, and then we go from there. So there's a lot of great people that I've had on the show. Storm Thomas was another one that comes to mind that I just think about, like I reach out to. And I get to make a lot of cool acquaintances because of the podcast. But I'm picking one. I couldn't do it. Like there's just too many.
I think that's my same problem right there. It's like you can't have like pick one interview that says, oh, I love this interview, because every single interview me and Joe has done has been awesome, fire this year. And you can't pick just one episode and say this one was better than the other one, because they all were great. Like last night, Kiara sung the Elemental Table last night. Yeah,
hilarious, dude. Oh my god.
So it was like, and it's a TikTok clip, so you got to go check it out on TikTok. It's like some of these interviews. I mean, I can't pick which was my favorite because they're all my favorite right there.
Right, and it's not like you go out and pick people that like can really drag down an interview. It's always like it's so crazy because like I feel like being in the wrestling world, like a lot of the people that you get to talk to, they just throw out all like these fun stories, and you get to learn so much about them and stuff. And I had someone tell me, so this is where Now Entering 201 came into part, right? Someone came to me and they were like, I really like the fact that you go through and interview all these wrestlers and you kind of talk stories with them, because it kind of lets me have something to connect with them about, and I can go up there and ask them questions and stuff, right? And I was like, and I said it just jokingly. I was like, well, I'm glad I just created a college course where I can just talk to whoever I want to about whatever, and then just learn from them. And so I was like, it gives me the idea to start the show called Now Entering 201, which since I've been wrestling now just over 2 years, it's like, let me go back to those guys that I was getting like a lot of knowledge from and bring them back and like ask them more questions that are like more in depth, and I can just like pick their brains out. So it's pretty cool. And then, you develop more friendships off of it. Right. So it's really cool that I get that opportunity on a podcast to bring people back or just talk to them for the first time, and then just like, have great times and great conversations.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like there's some wrestlers that we like right now, we're like 14% in England, and there's some wrestlers in England that I'm like, I see their pictures pop up on Instagram. I'm like the kid in the store that I see the toy. I'm like, I want to have them on our podcast. Like, I'm gonna name them. I want Mariah May, because that just by she was just in America, in fucking over there in Texas, and I was like, no, why did I be in Texas? I was having the Christian meltdown. No. Like, the other one I want is Luna Rocks. Her, but something came up. But she's another one that tagged with Alfie, and I'm like,
okay.
Oh god, we already had Alfie, but Lunar Rockets is their tag team partner in UK wrestling. So I'm like,
It is a trip when you reach out to a wrestler that you've been like wanting to interview, and they say yes that they come on your show, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll be 100. We just did an episode. It hasn't come out yet, so spoiler. Big ups for you guys for this one. But Trisha
Breaking
Dora's
news.
episode is gonna be coming out, so we got Trisha Dora to be on the number
Wow.
one. Yeah, the number one black wrestler on a Righteous Reg's, top 500 black wrestlers of last year, and she came on the podcast. And this is that I was like, and I told her, I was like, this is kind of like a 2-year in the making kind of thing, because like we started this podcast and I saw you just building and working and continuing to grow, especially carrying the Pan-African World of Sport Heavyweight Championship. And I had the guy who runs Fight, right, Chris Kazama, as well as Johnny Cross. I've had him on the podcast before, so having Trish was like obviously like the next big move, and I've been following her career for a while. And so we were at Fight Pro, and I just happened to walk up to her, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Cliff." My buddy Moses from Shane Taylor like introduced me to her, and we chopped it up, and then we scheduled a date, and I brought her on the show and interviewed her, and I was super excited because she was one of our top requested guests from a lot of different people, and we got to bring her on. So I was like, this is what it's supposed to be like.
That's awesome.
It's like when you get like what we're doing, like what you guys are doing too, and me and Geek pretty much thought we would just be interviewing American wrestlers, and then ding dong, hello, here comes Sweet. Well, or now she's not Sweet anymore, she's a heel. Originally, Sweet, friendly, tall, long legs of Kiara dinging on the doorbell, or as I cartoon brain Joe. We're sitting here talking to American wrestlers, and we hear a knocking, and we hear, where does this? There's no door there. It's a shelf. Why let's move this shelf. There's a door that says UK on it. Open it. There's Kiara going, hello, I've been counseled on by a podcast. Can I hang out with you guys? It's cold out here. Come in. Where did she come from? Like, now we're known in England. It's kind of like, I'm afraid to go to England. I want to go to England, but I'm nervous now that we're going to have the Beatles treatment. I'm like, oh my God, please, you're inside. I'm not Jeff Panther. I'm Randy Retiquez. What are you talking about? Ooh.
I'm a nobody.
Wearing those fake red glasses. What a noob. Do you think he's Barbie?
That's like the thing that I want to do. Like, I want to bring on more international guests. I've had 2. Vari Morales, who was on AEW Dark, came on the show. I had Kiara on the show, obviously. There's a few other people. I can't talk about it right now because I don't want to jeopardize anything that I'm trying to put together.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't get yourself in trouble.
There is some other wrestlers that are internationally known that I'm trying to work and get on the show. So it's a lot. And you guys, and like we were talking about it before we went on, like time zones is a thing.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Yeah.
We had a guest that I'm not going to name drop, but we had a wrestler from Australia that we set the time. We thought it was fine. The next day we wake up with a message. I'm ready to go, guys.
At 5 in the morning.
He called me about 5 times. I
was about to punch him out. I was about to walk over to his house and just knock him out. I'm like, Joe, what the fuck? Right?
And I didn't even know because I figured, time. I thought maybe like she understood 8 p.m. our time. Actually, I clearly wrote our time, and you can see it. Geek doesn't pay attention sometimes. Like, I told him clearly. I told her 8 p.m. our time, and it came into the chat. I'm ready now, guys, and I'm like,
it's like 5 in the morning where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I started telling people that we do all of our stuff on Bianca time, EST.
Yeah.
So,
oh, geez.
it's like we run on Bianca Belair time, EST, because she is.
Yeah, exactly. EST time. That's it. All right.
I was so mad because we never had an Australian wrestler, and that really blew it for us. We got her back.
Right.
But we were laughing about it the whole time.
we had Australian wrestlers before, Joe.
Did we?
Yeah, we had Valito.
Oh yeah, you need to get him. We'll have to send you his Insta. He's
an Australian luchador.
Nice.
He dresses like a chicken.
Hey.
not a chicken, but like he has a mask like a chicken. It's
The top part's like a rooster, the little thingy on top of the chicken's head, and yeah. But
he's awesome though.
Fire coat during the interview. That was the cool part.
like Seth. No, we wore
like Seth Rollins.
Yeah, with the drip and everything. Yeah.
Straight drip.
I could dig it.
Yeah.
I like Fire. If you're a fan of Eddie, of course you gotta like Fire.
Oh man, that's good though. I'm definitely send me some, whoever you guys want to see me put on the show. I always ask that question to people too. I'm like, nominate one person that you want to see on the podcast, and I get a lot of names, and so I'm like, all right, let me go back through all these episodes and try to reach out to some of these people that got
some names that we got recommended. Some people are like, oh, you gotta get Charles Mason.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, that's
Pancake.
What's up?
Pancake.
Pancake's another one. Yeah,
I love Pancake. He's such a nice dude.
It's funny, right?
I've been trying to get him. Like we messaged him. He's giving me a date, and I'm just like looking at the calendar.
Yeah, what do I give him?
No, me. We're getting a girl from Canada the end of the month on the 25th. Her name is Cece. She's from Canada. She's a Canadian wrestler. She wears like psychedelic colors.
I love it.
Yes.
You probably know all the East Coast wrestlers that we know.
What's funny is that like I'm still like, and I didn't really get into the indie scene until like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And then I started branching out from like WWE, obviously, because like it was the only thing to watch for a little bit until AEW really started coming around.
One wrestler you need to get on is Man Bun Jesus. He's funny as hell. Man Bun Jesus.
Just the name, the name alone
is doesn't even watch wrestling, dog, and she was like, I like him already. The name's great.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never met this person. Now all of a sudden, like, I want his name. Like, I love it.
She's like the new name. She's like Man Bun plus Jesus, and then she put a man with a bun, a beard, emoji, and then put Jesus. I guess it was a Jesus emoji.
Yeah.
And she put a hippie.
Nice.
Yeah, Bryce Donovan's awesome. So.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Bryce. Huge fan of Bryce. Actually, another person you guys had on the show, I'm a massive fan of, and I'll work to get him on the show. Is Alec Price.
Alec Price is awesome.
Oh
awesome.
my god! If you're not used to the millennial, the Gen Z talk, no cap thing, get used to. Get ready. Get your dictionary out.
Me and Joe are old, so it's like
get your dictionary out, sir.
I would blow you guys away if you guys found out how old I was.
I'm 38 years old, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm 37.
Oh, I'm older than you.
Yeah, but a lot of people
we're all in the same age group right there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people like see me for the first time, and they'll be like, "I think you're like 24, 25." I was like, "I wish."
Have you ever wrestled in the New York, the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that area yet?
Yeah, so I've been a part of IWA Vintage Pro Wrestling. Actually, I'll be there again this weekend. So I've wrestled for them. I've wrestled for HWT out of New Jersey as well. Those are like the two big ones right now. I know I'm still working on trying to get some more bookings in the New Jersey area. I'm always like, I don't say always, but randomly I'll pop up to the Invictus shows because I'm a huge fan of Alex. So he's one of the people that I love just like go and just help support. He's always putting on banger shows too. So
always a banger match.
There's a promotion that that was the breaking news I didn't break. So I'll do it right now because I'm an idiot and I forgot what I was supposed to break before we introduced you, Red Dog. There's a promotion in New Jersey, and they're doing a show in Sussex, New Jersey on April 29th, which I'm not going to. And the gate for coming. This is why I'm breaking the news. I will be at the show for the ISPPW show on April 30th in Sussex, New Jersey. Show starts at 7:30. Be there.
Nice.
That's
you can always catch Geek at VPW. He's just checking out the
that's
show.
another promotion you should check out on Long Island. Victory Pro Wrestling. It's a really nice promotion. It's based out of where is it?
St. James.
St. James, New York.
They used to run out Center Reach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you could tell them how many people they had at the last show.
They had almost 300 people at the last show.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it keeps growing too. They keep getting They
And their roster is all fire.
They have to every single time they have to keep moving the seats around because they have to make more room for more people. Like they have to move the set around to say how can we fit more people.
I love it.
Little Mean Kathleen came to the show last week. Just another one you need to get. Little Mean Kathleen.
Oh, I've had MLK on the show. Yeah,
MLK is awesome.
MLK is cool.
I go old school. I have to say,
I've only met her in person at the last show.
I've seen. So crazy enough, Little Mean Kathleen. I think we had her on the podcast, and I think her episode with us. Like, hey, if you ever want to come back on, more than welcome to. But it was like 15 minutes long, right? It was like a short interview. But what the cool thing about it is, it's probably had our second most views, like at like 351 on YouTube. So we're like, hey, like we're proud of the episode. It's short, but you know what? A lot of people liked it because we were just, my daughter actually was on asking questions and stuff to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to be able to. It's kind of fun to be able to introduce my little one to like the world of wrestling, and then just see her take off and have all of her favorite wrestlers. Which Becca, I think Becca is now like number 2 because Willow Nightingale is number 1, and it was so funny to see like that transition happen because we're at Fight Club Pro, right? And Willow was there, and they started talking and stuff, and my daughter just went mind blown. We brought her on the podcast. We had a great conversation with her, and then my daughter, like, there was a question. It was like, poorly describe your favorite wrestler, and my daughter was like, she's got purple hair, and I was like, well, Sasha doesn't have purple hair anymore. And I was like, who's your favorite? And she was like, Willow, and I was like, oh, okay.
There you go.
Willow's awesome. You know, I don't know if I don't think Joe's seen her live, but
I see a lot of her clips on Instagram when she was in AEW recently. So I'm like, oh, I see a lot of.
She puts on a great show.
Yeah.
Who's the one? Sorry,
just a fun person to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one we had on the day that we had the 5 shows from NYWC? Just had the dog collar match.
Oh, Joey. Joey Conway.
Joey's
super nice guy. You know.
Yeah.
He about my mustache.
But biggest douche in the ring.
Oh my god. we actually gonna laugh. We actually were supposed to just go to the VPW show that day, and we were told, if you guys want to come, we'll save you some tickets. So we got there, and I'm like, we got to get there early. And Geek's like, really, Joe? Early? I said, well, get there early. Get there before anybody else. So we got there, and we were like the first ones to get in. They were like, okay, you two, here's your tickets. Give us your money. Okay, sit wherever you want. So I'm like, I think I said, where should we sit? And you were like, ringside. Duh, we're the only ones here right now. So we got there, and we were like watching them prep. It felt like we should not be seeing this kind of stuff. We were watching them practice their, like, we go this way, I go that way. We're like, should we not be looking over there right now? Like,
see what's going on.
All I can see is the word kayfabe over everything they were doing. Like, my childhood just got ruined. Like,
It is wild. It is wild. Like, I love like being at the shows and stuff, and like I love being there as a fan, but then also like being there, like obviously like as a worker as well. And I think what's funny is like the transition that I have to have, like, because if I go there as a fan, like I know a bunch of people, I'll be like, I know a bunch of people who are on the card. I can just, and I was like, I can't hop back behind the curtain because I'm not on this show. Like I have to stay in the front and just chill out. But it's definitely it's cool to see like everybody talk about how they want to work their matches and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden just go out there and just slay a performance. I'm always infatuated by it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's like at the show that I'm going to be going to in New Jersey. Actually, Tito Santana is going to be there.
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to be wrestling or he's just Tito and one of the Bushwhackers. I don't know if Tito's wrestling. But
Luke.
Luke. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tito's wrestling, but I heard he could hit a mean Canadian destroyer. For like, how old? He's 70?
Yeah.
I heard he could hit a mean. Geek has told me. I'm like, oh my god, dude, have you seen him? I'm like, no. I'm like, he hits a mean Canadian. Like for a 70-year-old.
No, what's his name? No, it's Ricky Morton. Canadian
I thought
Destroyer.
Tito Santana does that.
No, Ricky Morton hits a Canadian Destroyer. I think it was. What was that? I saw the. Was it Midnight Express? Right? They
Made
wrestled.
me get all amped about Tito.
Yeah,
Santana.
you talk about when they were with Proud and Powerful, right?
Yeah,
On
they
AEW.
wrestled the Canadian Destroyers. I'm like, how old are these dudes hitting Canadian Destroyers? Man, what the heck? What year is it?
Right.
Did you see that at the WrestleCon? Ric Flair and they were like scrapping in the middle of the floor at the convention. Flair and one of the Rock and Roll Express guys. They were like grappling with each other, walking around like. Did you see
I
that?
could imagine what the wrestlers were thinking when they saw that clips on YouTube. But
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, those guys, the Rock and Roll Express, awesome to see live. And I'm surprised they could still go in the ring, which is crazy.
Yeah, Ricky's one of my so Ricky and my trainer are like really good friends, and getting to listen to Ricky just kind of like spit knowledge is like it's crazy. I'm always mind blown.
Oh, another one you need to get on your show, and she was trained by one of the Rock and Roll Express, is Riley Rocket.
Oh yes, indeed. I definitely need her on the show.
She is awesome. She's so sweet. She's so friendly. She was so cool. We had technical difficulties at first, but like she stayed in it. She just worked with us. She was just like, "It's okay, guys. It's okay. Okay." Like, we sent her a sticker. She was happier than happy. I know she put it on
something we need to do too. Like we have all our own merch, right? So you can see like I have like the 3 Count Podcast shirt there. We have like the OG one right there, and then obviously I have like the sticker right here. But yeah, we don't really have much more for like merch wise. Like, and I think that's something that we probably like a lot more people we get like attached to. Like we had like stickers or buttons or I don't know, like wristbands that we could throw out in the crowd. But a couple of my friends, like the 2300 podcast, right? 2300 wrestling podcast, like they had wristbands and they were selling them at first, and then they realized they weren't really moving, so they're just trying to give them away. And I think I have like 4 of them in my bag because I was like, just give them to me, man. I don't care.
That's the reason why me and Joe are not selling the stickers. We're just giving them out because they're cheap, number one, and it's like, who's gonna buy a sticker,
right?
And it gets your name out there, so it's like
I want people to think we're stealing money. Like
exactly, you know what I mean?
We're just
I love stickers too. I love stickers because like kids, like I thoroughly enjoy like watching kids' eyes like light up like when you give them stuff, and like getting to spend time with with kids and just like talk with them and stuff like that, listen to their story, or they talk to you about whatever. It's so much cool. It's so cool. But then like whether you're like autographing something or you're like giving them a sticker or you're taking a picture, like seeing the world light up, I was like, I remember what this was like when I was a kid, and I get to be that for somebody else. I think it's like one of my favorite things, like getting to do. And then we do the podcast, and then like I'll see somebody pop in randomly that's like, hey, so did you guys talk about this point? Like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, that's the person I just met them like 3 weeks ago. So it's definitely a lot of fun to be able to do.
Joe, that's a good idea, Joe. Keep that in mind. We have to autograph our stickers when we see somebody next time. You just gave us an idea right now.
I'll think about it. It's hard to autograph stickers when you want the kids to be able to put them on things, Geek.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't want to have my name on something and the mom's going to stick on a car and leave it get wet. Of course, we got to give something to the mamas,
Yep.
No, that's for the kids. No.
Yeah.
Like that, mama. It's for the kids. Is it really Geek for the kids? Is it really for the kids?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be.
Is it for the kid?
It's
There's actually
I like watching people like come up. Like my dad. So it was kind of cool, right? So I was at HWF last month, right? And my dad, who I hadn't seen like in a couple of years, right? It's just because he lives in Nebraska and I'm out here in Maryland, and he came out to watch me, and he was at work running my merch table, right? Because he's like, I want to do this, and he's like, you just go have fun. So when I popped up behind him and I was like, hey guys, this is my dad. Yo, everybody was like, can we get pictures with you? Can we get like an autograph and stuff? And my dad was like, no. He's like, I don't want to do that. Everybody's like, well, you're the big red dog. And he was like, no. He's like, follow my son, go away. And he was like, he came back to me and he was like, I never thought that was going to be something that happens.
Well, the thing is, my dad's coming with me to that show I was talking about in Jersey, and I don't think my dad's prepared for people to run up to me and be like, "Oh my God, it's Joe the Panther the Third and Papa Panther. Oh my God, tell me about your dad, Papa Panther." What? My dad's not ready for that because people haven't done that to us yet. But I'm next year that's gonna happen. Oh, Geek lost his camera. Here we go. He's about to. Your Wi-Fi is a little wonky.
The Wi-Fi is wonky, but that's about it. I lose the camera, so
yeah. So yeah, like that's one of the things I was gonna ask if you had people like come up to you and say, "Oh my God, I watched your show. It's so cool." And now I know you've had people come up to you and do that. So like,
it hasn't so much with the show. Although I've had a lot of people like reach out to me like in my DMs and stuff like that and tell me that they're like fans of like the episodes or certain episodes that come out. They love them. And I 100% appreciate like all the people who come to me and talk to me about it. It's like normally when I get a lot of fans who hit me up about like just being on the wrestling, just on the circuit, just in the DMV and in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. Like I have people who reach out to me all the time and they're like, hey man, like, are you gonna be at this show? Because I really can't wait to see you. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, yeah, definitely. You know, I'll be there at this date or on that, you know, at this time, or I won't be at that show because I'm at this show. So I definitely enjoy like that aspect of it. But if someone came to me and was like, dude, I watch your podcast all the time, I don't know, I think I'd just be floored.
like I'm this event that I'm going to, I've never been there before, and I know only Tito and Vicky and Rob, or like Rob, Rob, what's it, Bob something?
Bob Culture Podcast. He's
Culture
awesome.
Podcast. He's gonna be there. He's another one you should try to get on your show. He's cool, Bob Culture.
I would love to be able to do that exchange. Where, like, he's on mine and I'm on his. I love the Bob Culture Podcast.
Yeah, we try to do that. Like, I mean, but we don't want to invite ourselves on anybody else's podcast. But if they invite us, they invite us.
I'd like to ask before it's like, we're coming on, right?
Yeah.
And they're like,
no.
like slam.
Yo, so I'll ask this question, right? So how many people have you like, so like obviously in full transparency for you guys, right? Like I actually hit you guys up the night before because I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure like this is right, that we're doing this. Because like I go through and like I tell everybody when I book my guests, right? I tell them like I will hit you up in your DMs like the day of the show and just to kind of confirm everything, and then I'll give you guys the links then. And so people get really appreciative because you're obviously like make sure you're gonna take care of them as well. So how many times have you guys had it where you guys have hit a guest up and they're like, oh, I totally forgot that this was going on, and
lots of times.
Oh my God, it's so sad. It's almost
you have no idea how many ghosts we have had before, and then not even say, yeah, we're still on. Nothing.
Oh man.
And then a few hours later, you say, oh wow, I forgot to set my alarm.
That part, you know what's always
power outage, Joe, or something happened.
My throat hurts.
I'm doing this with a cold, so if anybody wonders, I love this whole aspect of just like I love this side of the wrestling business as well, right? It's just like being able to do interviews and like get to talk to people about whatever, and especially when it's something I'm passionate about. But yeah, I think I've been ghosted and twice, maybe 3 times in the whole time that I've done the whole podcast. And I've actually gone out, and those people who have ghosted me, I've actually reached out to them recently and then not heard anything back. So I'm like, all right, we'll just remember to put you on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
Now we have a thing. We message the person and we'll send them over to the gallery. And they'll just stay there. Nice. And I think all our guests that we're having on later that we have already booked, in the gallery and wait
That's
and
why-
wait and wait.
That's one reason we put that message out. I think, I don't know if you saw that. Like, if you are not interested in coming on our podcast, please let us know. You know what I mean? Just
That's
don't.
why on Twitter I said that because we're getting frustrated. Like we're trying to do something for thing we thought we
Like
were
for
getting.
somebody who wants to come on our podcast, like for example, they can't come on our podcast because they're taking that opportunity away from that person. Because there's so many people out lined up on the podcast, and you know, it's like you're taking the opportunity away from that person and wasting our time. You're wasting their time. You know, that we could be interviewing somebody that wants to come on the
Or
podcast.
we could be relaxing. One of the person we gave him a date that was a Tuesday, and we don't do Tuesday off interviews a lot, or Saturday interviews. Was it Tuesday or Saturday? The person gave us their word, and they'll come on the podcast, and they ghosted us.
Oh, I appreciate those. Like if I hit somebody up, or because I usually try to hit them up like early in the morning, like at Eastern time, right? I try to hit like maybe like 10 o'clock, right? So it's not super early. But if I don't hear a response back by like 2, I just kind of consider it kind of like, well, actually, I'll be honest, like 5 p.m. If they don't hit me up, I kind of consider it like a loss. I'm just like, hey man, I'm just gonna watch wrestling tonight and just chill out.
Yeah.
And I just don't. It's not even something to sweat. Like, yeah, I know you put your time into it, and you're working out the date and everything. Man, I sit back and I just like, cool. I can sit back and edit this episode, or I can put this thing together, and I can just relax. And
I used to do that. I used to get like oh man, I'm gonna find another guest. Now, recently, I'm just like, I'm gonna play some WWE 2K22. Yeah,
just relax. That's it.
You can
Just
download
relax.
me on that too. I'm actually in that. So a bunch of people like put me in the game.
I
didn't even know.
Download you then. Put you on put you in my NXT.
Hey, I'm alright with that. They gotta start somewhere.
Yes, actually, you'll be wrestling against the likes of the Pretty Boy, Johnny Collins, and what's his name, Jack
Tomlinson.
Jack Tomlinson.
Okay, I like Jack.
Yeah.
You know what I got to do? I feel bad doing this.
Joe, who's your pick to win BPW? Jack Tomlinson or Johnny Collins?
You know I don't like Johnny Collins. I'm gonna say Jack forever because he's the king.
I guess Johnny's doing his job then because he's the heel.
His voice sounds like he sucked helium for 3 weeks. Just saying. And you can make a clip of that, geek, because I don't care. Johnny Collins, your voice sounds like you suck helium for.
Johnny Collins is the man right now. All I'm gonna say.
I think he's the helium man.
Nice.
Don't hate on Johnny Collins, man. He's the man.
Johnny Collins swag.
He's selling the tickets right now at BPW. So
that guy with the long hair with the greasy face with that I'm gonna sell tickets. No, that guy's selling the tickets. Geek.
Oh, you're talking about the guy from The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, I'm selling the tickets. You can't go in yet. I didn't sell you a ticket. No, what do you mean?
Sorry. So the theater is not clean yet.
Stop it! No, you can't do that to me. My boss is gonna kill me. That's that.
Oh, Lisa hates you, by the way, now, Joe.
Yeah, right. Lisa's sitting there. I'm stirring my meat sauce. Boo, Joe. Boo. You're not getting any of this meat sauce.
Nice.
That's her lifetime
so
emoji.
much hate for Johnny Collins.
She's sitting there stirring her pot of meat sauce, and she's going, boo, boo, boo him for me, okay? I'm almost done with my meat sauce. She always talks about giving me. She apparently makes a really good meat sauce, so can't hate on that.
Shout outs. I'm all about getting some good home food too, like homemade food, especially if you can tell me. Yeah.
What?
I feel like a lot of people. Well, no, because full transfer. Like I love enchiladas. That's like my favorite food, and like I judge all Mexican places by their enchiladas. And if I can make mine better than you do, then we don't. I tell my family, like, we're not going back to our restaurant at all. It's like that's it. And there's been places where we just don't go back. In fact, there is one place though that I repeatedly will go to all the time.
You spelled Panther wrong. Even I know that. It's Pan, like Peter Pan and Thur.
Joe.
What? You money? I know. That's what the Panther makes. By
you
all
gotta
the
do you gotta do the Colt of Collins symbol. It's the Colt of Collins.
Well,
right
the
there.
personality of Joe. Remember, the Panther has 2 knives. Remember, they say about Latins. Here's my knife.
But yeah,
I definitely got to
yeah.
get your guy. But would it be messed up if I cleared out the NXT roster and I put all the guys on Raw and SmackDown and just made NXT for the Indies? Would that be
Yes.
mean?
No.
Should I make that? No? Yes? No?
Yes, do it, Joe. Do it.
But it's hard because you've played the new game, Red Dog, right?
No, crazy enough, like it's on my system right now, like downloading.
What platform?
Xbox actually.
You could actually get my guy Kid Crazy. Yeah, I put him on for able to load on all platforms. So my guy is Kid Crazy.
Okay, definitely. I have to look because I know like a lot of people are like
says my guy's name, Red Dog, better than I've ever. It's like I think the guy from it was on NXT, right? That was the announcer in the game. Apparently, they released him.
Who was that? I can't even draw a blank.
It's okay. I can kick the Panther out, Lisa. It's okay.
Oh, God.
There you go. The interview's over. There you go.
I have done that to people like on our podcast all the time. That's like the most fun button to have.
Joe, when Joe talks too much, you can tell who's talking the most on, and then I'm like, okay, Joe's talking enough now, and now it's the Geek Show right now, and everyone's like, oh, that's so mean to do to Joe, but he does it to me all the time, so
Yeah,
he cuts me off. So
we have one of my friends, actually one of the guys, his name's Lou the Franchise. He's on our debate show usually it's every Sunday, but it's kind of lately he's kind of here and there. But he's my friend from high school, and like anytime he starts going on a rant, I just boot him out the chat. He gets so mad. He's like, "Oh, it's like that." It's like, "Yep, gone."
Oh man, he got mad. I think he stormed off. So I don't know where he went. But so did you watch WrestleMania or?
Yeah, so with the 3 Count podcast, right? So if you follow us on TikTok, like I cover a lot of wrestling shows, and actually this last week I ended at Raw after WrestleMania. But yeah, I think I probably watched close to 96 hours of wrestling content.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a lot, and it was also painful because like my eyes just felt like they're about to fall out of my face. But I watched Raw, I watched NXT, I watched Dynamite, I watched Impact, right? And then
how was Impact? I didn't see it. It was it good or?
So Impact was actually really good. Motor City Machine Guns got to take on Bullet Club. Won't spoil it for you guys, but it was such a fun match to watch. But then, like obviously, then GCW had all their events going on, so I was watching For the Culture, World of Lucha, Bangers Only, the Impact's wrestling. Was it Impact Wrestling? Multiverse of Matches. So I was like watching so much other content as well as WrestleMania. Stand and Deliver was also the same weekend. Like it was just crazy. And so I'm like trying to cover all of it and like talk about it on the podcast, like all the matches that happen. And then every year for WrestleMania week, we do the top 20 matches for the Red Dogs Power Rankings versus like the top 10 that we normally do. So I had 31 matches that I had to cover and talk about. And then obviously 10 of them didn't make the list. Top 20 made the list. And I was just talking about all the matches. And yeah, I got Chaz got upset with me because I was kind of talking a lot of smack about Cody, but Cody and Seth Rollins was my top match of WrestleMania.
So what would you like? Would you say like so that's your favorite match of the whole weekend or?
Yeah, so it was my top match. Let's see, in the top 5 it was Thunder Rosa and Trish Adora from Bangers Only.
Yeah.
It was Brock and Roman from night 1. It was Edge and AJ, right? From that was at night 2 for Brock. It was night 2 for Edge. And then it was Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch.
Awesome.
From night 1. And then obviously Cody and Seth.
Yeah, I think Cody and Seth was my favorite match from WrestleMania. But I really enjoyed Sammy and Johnny Knoxville. A lot of people give that match crap, but it was entertaining. It did its purpose. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I think it was 17 on my list. Like I had it in the top 20, but I was like, I loved it.
I mean, that match was entertaining. The whole thing with the mouse traps and the giant mouse trap at the end. Wee Man getting
Wee Man getting the slam, like the giant hand coming out and just smacking Sammy. Like that was great. I think another match like a lot of people didn't get to check out, and they should go check out if you guys haven't seen it yet. Go watch For the Culture, and more importantly, go watch Shane Taylor Promotions versus Hitmakers, which is obviously the dudes from Hit Row, like are on the indie scene now. But yeah, they were running a match with Shane Taylor Promotions, and I thought that match was so good, such a fun match to watch. I could just name off like tons and tons of other matches that I remember like watching from the show. Go check out Joey Janela's Spring Break Part 1. Mickey James and Allie Catch ran this incredible match. That was just fun storytelling and just incredible left and right.
Masha wrestled a bear.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be someone else.
Max the Impaler. It was
Max the Impaler.
Or Max the Bear.
Max the Bear.
There's a British wrestler that just came to America. Her thing is hearts on her outfit. I can't think of her name. She just debuted in America around Mania weekend. She's staying here for a long time, but she's not doing podcasts. I can't think of her name. She has like broken hearts on her outfit, on the front of her outfit. Oh my god, her name's S. I can't think of her name, but we tried and she's not doing podcasts. So I was like, okay, YOLO.
Or you know, just depends. Like certain people, and it's funny too because I know a lot of people who won't do podcasts, but they'll definitely talk to you like off behind the scenes. I've definitely had a couple of those interviews where like they're like, I don't want to be in front of a camera like doing a live interview, which I tell people all the time. Like as a work, I like understand, but I definitely get to pick a lot of people's brains that I just never imagined that I would have that conversation just sitting there talking with. So it's cool. Like one person in particular I could mention is Darius Lockhart. Like, dude is just a fountain of knowledge.
I heard he's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, incredible person. I get to sit with him every once in a while and just sit down, ask him a question. I get a cool answer. I jot it down, and then I just wait and I just look for another time. And I see him somewhere else, and I'll hit him up and ask him a question. There's so many cool people like in the wrestling world that I feel like I can kind of like lean on a little bit and just say, hey, what's up? And shoot them a message, and I usually get an answer back, and then I'll be like, yo, that's kind of the answer I was looking for. So it's crazy, and it's fun because I like to think like with Now Into the Ring, especially that like because I'm like going out and seeking all the knowledge and stuff like that, and trying to understand and learn more about the sport that I love to run in, or this business, this performance, whatever you kind of want to call it. I just find it like awe-inspiring that like I have people who are just like, yeah, man, here's like you're looking for this answer. This is what I would do in this situation, or this is what I would do in that situation, or this is how I would cut this promo, or this is how I would do this thing in the ring that you're trying to accomplish. So it's crazy to learn, as well as like and then go through and just like talk to people that I'm talking to. I'm just like, this is not something I would ever imagine.
Yeah, one match we forgot to mention was FTR versus the Briscoes. It was another great match from the weekend. That was probably the match of the weekend for me.
So it's funny because like Chaz and I got into this. Actually, this legit happened yesterday. So if you guys go check out our show on YouTube, right, the 3 Count Podcast, our debate show, you'll see this argument happen live, like on the show. But he got upset with me because I said that the top 5 teams currently, right, are I said the Usos, FTR, the Briscoes, the Young Bucks, and the New Day, and he lost this shit. He's like, I can't believe you're gonna put the Briscoes over the New Day, and like he got so upset with it. I was like, listen, man, they're putting on like the Briscoes have been doing this for a long time, just tearing down the roof every place they go. It's like, of course they're gonna be like in my top 5, and I was like, And depending on the time, like they will move down to 5, but they'll never move out of 5.
It's like it's hard because there's so many good tag teams from nowadays that it's like, do I really want to make a countdown and say it on my podcast and someday they'll hear it and be like, how dare you say that? I'm better than them. And you're like, controversy.
Yeah.
Well, like I can go back through and just tell people, like, if you're not paying attention to Shane Taylor promotions and watching them do their thing, let's see, you're not looking at Prolific, you're not looking at Pure Ignorance, you're not looking at, Riot City, if you're not looking at who's the one I'm thinking of, Waves and Curls is another great team that's like running stuff. I'm trying to think of like more people just right off the top of my dome. Static Age. I mean, there's like, and these are teams that are added to DMB that can just like fire off like super quick. And then of course, Waves and Curls is definitely up top. The Prestige when they were running as a team, like they were great. Like these are people that you should like pay attention to because here soon you're gonna see them somewhere else and you're gonna be like, oh, I know that team now because that one time that one old dude named Red Dog said it on the podcast. Like now I see them running everywhere. So it's there.
In the indies, there's so many great tag teams, and then it's so hard to say what the all-time great tag teams are because back in our day, Red Dog, we had these tag teams that used to wear tie-dye t-shirts that say they were nasty boys, and these guys with spiked shoulder pads calling themselves the Road Warrior Legion of Doom. And then Demolition, and there's like so many great The Rockers, and all these teams that are like so legendary, but it's so hard to say great tag teams because we have so many good teams now. But back in the day, everybody was great, but they had their moments in time. You know what I mean?
Oh, I tell everybody straight up. Like, if anybody ever asks me, like, who's my favorite tag team of all time,
he just
Legion
did.
of Doom. Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. There we go. Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, whatever you want to call them. Like, that's it. Like, everywhere those guys went, they were charismatic. They had a lot of strength. They had a lot of speed. They were just a lot of fun to watch. They were just two brutes that just like beat people up, but they were also like very like fun to like check out. And also like the story behind what those guys did, right? Like I know people will be like, well, they had like weird haircuts. I know, but the story behind even their haircut like was really cool, right? Like there's Animal with like a mohawk, and then obviously like Hawk has the sides of his head because if they put their heads together, it's supposed to be one person. I was like, yo, like the explanation behind the stuff that they were doing, I was like, this is why they're so cool. And then they go around everywhere and win titles everywhere that they land. I was like, teams weren't doing that. And there's not very many teams now. Well, I don't want to say not now, but there wasn't teams in that time. There wasn't that many teams that like you would sell out, places in Chicago, Madison Square Garden, that was just built on the tag team. And because, you had your Hogans and your Warriors and you had all these other dudes that were just tearing it up, right? No disrespect. But when you talked about tag teams, especially with those guys, the Legion of Doom, like you wanted to see the Road Warriors. And to me, like, that's why I thought they were always the greatest. Plus they had cool face paint.
Yeah. Everywhere they were, it was different. Everywhere they went.
There's so many great tag teams today. I mean, you got also in the indies, you got VBU, you have the Even Stevens, you have the Brick City Boys,
the Stepdads.
Stepdads, yeah.
I love the Stepdads.
Yeah. But Even Stevens are funny though, as shit, man. I don't know if you ever, who I'm talking about, or
yes, Even Stevens, yeah. Because at one time we were like a trio with Phil Cardigan.
Yeah. All three of those guys are awesome. Mike Anthony's another great guy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like now, you're looking up and down the East Coast, and you're seeing like all these great tag teams show up and show out, and then it's so cool to see like the indie scene like flourish the way it is, and like you're starting to see like more people pay attention to like the ground. The only problem I have with I don't want to say it like this. I don't want to sound disrespectful when I say this, so please take this with like like it's trying to come out of kindness. Is like the gatekeeping side of things, where like you'll see fans be like, well, if you didn't know them from this time, then you're not a real fan. I don't have to. I'm watching them now. I'm experiencing them now. So let me have that, right? Because I will be honest, like before the Viking Raiders, I knew War Machine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I never told people, like, if you weren't watching him as War Machine and you only know him as War Raiders, are you really a fan? Like, come on, stop that. Like, gatekeeping is not a thing that needs to happen, especially in art. Like, I try to tell people all the time, like, listen, as people we're in this bubble of wrestling and we are fighting amongst each other that are like, I'm a WWE person, I'm an AEW person.
I hate that.
You see everybody else, like, and we'll say, well, like 10%, right, is like wrestling fans. The other 90% is like, you guys are nerds. Like, yeah. I know.
I hate that. It's like, why can't we all just enjoy wrestling? Because wrestling is so good right now. It's like, why can't we just enjoy it? Because now we have AEW, now we have WWE, now we have New Japan, we have Ring of Honor. It's like back then when I was a kid, man, I used to tape all the shows and watch the shows on tape, and I'll be like, oh, great, wrestling's over. What do I do? Okay, I'll watch my VHS tapes. But now these kids are spoiled because they have the WWE Network and New Japan World, Ring Honor Club, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I find it interesting that, and I was like, people are like, wrestling is the most toxic fan base in the world. I'm like, we are toxic. We are not the most.
No, right?
Ooh, I just want to let you know. I'll send it to you later so you don't forget. Because a lot of people forget. You could download Kiara on your game.
Oh, nice.
Somebody created Kiara, and not in this game. When you create somebody, you could use their likeness in their created character thingamabob. They could add like a picture.
Yeah. And
they have her everything, her moves and everything, and they don't have her name. That makes me mad. They finally didn't add the word name Kiara. I'm like, that's a name. Like, you can't even combine a name and make it Kiara. It's kind of sad. But they have her.
Maybe they'll put a patch out and upload it.
Oh, please. You got to make it, change it. I get mad. I'm like, they need the word Kiara. She'd be so frustratedly mad. But yeah, they have her likeness and they have her. And she was on there a week in my game. And of course, Kiara. She already won her title. she's women's champion already.
Nice.
And it's funny. I was worried because I got Mariah May. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have him face and Kiara's gonna lose the belt.
No.
What's that chant they do at baseball and events when a player's not that good and everybody else says they're good? Overrated. Kiara wipe the floor with her. Like, Kiara needs to come to the States. Just saying.
A lot of people.
She's definitely one I want to see.
Kiara wants to. We need Kiara to come to America, and you're in agreement with us. She needs to come.
One person who needs to come to America, Joe, and Joe's gonna agree with me on this one. Jackson Arrow.
Oh my God, you need to get him on your podcast. Jackson Arrow is the coolest guy in the fucking room. He's that guy, and all the girls are like, "It's Jackson Arrow." Oh my God, double hands on the chin.
I swear, if Ring of Honor or any of these companies found out about Jackson Arrow, or like New Japan or anything, signed immediately. Definitely.
Nice.
You know?
And he's the owner of a promotion in England on a small island off of England called, what's it called, Geek?
What is it? Island of Wight, right?
Island of Wight, and the promotion is called Outcast. You could watch them on Twitch. They do a show every other weekend on Twitch.
No, not every other weekend. Every once a month. I think
every once a month they do a show.
Okay.
Every match is fire.
Yeah.
Every match is fire. And me and Geek didn't know a thing about their promotion. Then we
watched it. We watched their we watched it, and then we're like, holy crap! All these matches are good. There's not one bad match on this card.
And then we met Lunatrix, which you should have her on your podcast. She's really sweet and it's funny as hell. And then another person you need to have, Amber Joe, the Notorious Angel. Yes, she's so cool. Such a super cool person. Even once again, British time.
Yeah, take that into account. Yep.
But they all need to come to America. All of them. You know.
If I can get a luxury ship, I'd bring them all over. Kiara, Shorty, Alfie, Natalie Weil, which we need to get her one day because there's so many stories, the awesome stories that she has that we've heard that she
Jackson
has.
Arrow, Lunatrix.
Oh my God! If I won the lottery, I would just rent out a cruise ship and bring them all over into America.
Nice.
Have the little passport thing when they get off the boat. Okay, here's your passport. Your passport. I could do that.
That would be boss.
I'm the $1 million man. I'd be like, get on the boat. Get on the boat. Hugs. You don't hug me, you can't get on the boat. Aw.
I like that.
Correct. Shaking hands.
We don't shake hands no more. We give hugs. That's what we do.
Yes, we get canceled. No.
Oh well, it was worth it at one time.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, that cruise ship would have to be really big because there's so many wrestlers that we've seen, Geek has seen, I have seen, with so many promotions. Are you agreeing with this, Red Dog? That like, there's so many promotions in the world that we have had on the podcast. I don't know if you guys had on that they're not even discovered because no one knows about them yet because they're overseas.
Oh well, I mean, just just for me, right? Like in the DMV, right? And we'll go elsewhere. So just inside the DMV as well as West Virginia, there's so many promotions that people haven't heard of just because it's so like they're either growing or they're just not well known because like the area that we live in. But there are a lot of matches that happen in this area that are so good that people will just be like, yeah, I don't know who that is. And she wants to talk about worldwide. Because you just look inside your local area, you're probably finding like some crazy ass shows. Like, funny enough, like I was just at PWX outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this last weekend, right? And as we're driving up, we stop at a random gas station in Pennsylvania, and we see RCW. And I was like, I've never even heard of RCW. But on the poster is one of my friends. And I was like, all right. It's like, why have I not heard about this promotion yet? So, yeah. So just inside of just like sometimes your own state, your own region that you're wrestling in. There's so many promotions that people haven't heard of yet. So, yeah, just think about worldwide. There's fire matches being put on everywhere.
There's also PPW, too, by me, too.
And BPW. BPW. Don't forget BPW.
BPW is Long Island. We're talking about Pennsylvania now, sir.
Yeah, but we're talking unknown promotions in general.
Like BPW, well, everybody knows about NYW, the New York Wrestling Connection, because Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins came from there, and a bunch of other people came from that one. So, like,
I got turned over. I got turned over to DPW because of Muscle Man Malcolm. He's a friend of mine as well, and he was out there doing interviews and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, and so I started paying more attention. I was like, nice. I was like, I really like this promotion. I was like, I just kind of pay attention to them and just see how they're doing. And eventually, like, I want to be able to go over there. It's funny because I just like my goals for like this year, I was talking about wanting to be in like new states, right? So I'm trying to get up into Connecticut. I'm trying to get to Massachusetts, trying to get into Maine. I want to get down to Georgia and then the Carolinas, and then eventually move myself back out west and like get into places like in Iowa or St. Louis, get into Texas. Love to be over in like California eventually. So I was like, I've already trying to map out how I'm going to get to these places. But yeah, there's a lot of promotions out there that I see that I want to go work for because I see like the talent that they have, or I see the person who's putting on like the shows and put on the matches out there. So just say for an example, right? Tough and Talented is one. Test of Strength is another one from Connecticut that I would love to be. Test of Strength. I would love to be attached to those guys. Be at Wrestle Open. That's on IWTV. I would love to be a part of them because they're actually in a place that I used to live up in Massachusetts. Get over to Southern Honor Wrestling in Georgia because I have some friends that are there. It's just there's all sorts of different places that I would just like to stop in. Just, hey, I want to work here at this show and be a part of your guys' roster and do whatever you guys need me to do. So
yeah, it's like the Indies is on fire right now. There's so many. Now they're doing shows again, so the Indies now have a platform again because during pandemic, it was dead though. Like the first show me and Geek got a chance to go to was last July, and it was just like,
Hopefully, we can do another show again together. Right,
Oh,
Joe?
we're already plotting it. Don't worry. I've talked to my mom like 15 times in a row. And my dad's like, "You're gonna be able to go. Don't worry, relax."
Even if we do a show in the city, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Queens. I told my brother. My brother said he'd be willing to go to a show with me. So if he wants to go to a show, I'll have to stay at his house.
We can meet halfway somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Like Hog, maybe that one.
Hog would be great. Yeah.
My brother's never been to an indie show, and I told him.
Yeah, my friend Stefan was usually in the chat. He's like, Hog is where it's at right now.
And I said, my brother's never been to an indie show, and I said, he thinks that we need to go to WWE. I'm like, no, we got to go to indies.
Indies all the way.
Because I told Geek now, like technically you guys too, we are now on the fingerprint. We officially we're part of the satellite dish of the indies. If someone wants to know the indies, you can go watch the ones in Massachusetts. Or you're like, we all now as podcasters that interview indie wrestlers, we're the satellite dish that sends their names into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
Yep.
It used to be the TV shows and the TV stations we watched, like the straight TV channels that they would show like the indies. We're that now.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to give yourself a big pat on the back because now we're that TV channel that everybody watches.
Well, it's funny because like when I talked to when we had Chris Van Vliet on, he was telling me about this phenomenon called podcast fading, right? Pod fading, that's what he called it. But it was like a real thing where like your average podcast was like lasting like 7 episodes and then people would just fade off. They just wouldn't put another episode because they're like, well, I'm not getting the listens to and blah, 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 right? And like you guys just hitting 200 episodes, you know, it's over 200 episodes.
In a year.
We did the same. It's crazy that we're, you know, we keep trying to push more people's names out there so people can pay attention and look at in the direction of like where we're like, hey, look, like if you guys are a fan of this promotion, you guys should go check out this person because, you know, they're attached to that, or you should go over here and listen to these people talk about, you know, what it's like to be in like the Chicago area, or you want to talk to someone you want to see someone from the Georgia area. Here's that person. Here's this person from Texas. Here's this person from California. Here's the person that's out in Hawaii, right? Here's an event that's happened in Alaska. So it's always fun to like talk to these people and try to like get heads to turn over and be like, hey, this is what's going on in indie scene. So when everybody keeps talking about like sports entertainment and as far as WWE goes, or like AEW or Impact, I'm like, yeah, those are great promotions, but have you been paying attention to MLW? If you haven't, you should be knowing that the open heavyweight champion, right, Alex Kane, he's like just destroying people there. He's an amazing individual, an amazing wrestler. If you're not paying attention to what's going on and I'm not trying to tell people like I'm better than you for this. I just want to show people more wrestling out there, more variety, right? Yeah. If you guys haven't been paying attention to Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling out in Colorado Springs, Colorado, right? You guys would see Gino Told You So, right? He's an amazing dude. Jason Dredd is out there. He's also a fun worker. Gypsy Mac is out there. You know, there's all sorts of great talent that's like wrestling out there. And if you're just kind of mad at like what you're currently watching, whether it's on Dynamite or it's on Raw or Impact or, you know, wherever, there's like this whole world that's out there. Danhausen talked about it on Chris Van Vliet's podcast Insight, right? Where he was talking about there's a promotion, I think it's in Cleveland, and I have to go back and listen to it again. But if you're a fan of wrestlers acting like they're from the 1920s, there's a promotion for you, and it's out there. So like wrestling is so massive that you get to have this opportunity of listening to whoever. There are shows out there, you know, if you're looking for a certain demographic of people, there's probably a wrestling promotion out there. If you're a fan of people who get in giant suits and wrestle at like big kaijus, there's a promotion for you. Like exactly. I pop laughing because I'm like, it's like wrestling is so vast, right? And I love where you can go and what you can watch and what you can experience just there. Like I'll throw another promotion out there. He doesn't need my plug because he's already world famous. Freddie Prinze Jr. has his podcast. He had Macaulay Culkin on, and they were talking about this show that they watched where they were baked, they were high as hell, and they went to watch this wrestling promotion about breakfast foods. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a promotion for everything. Like there's luchador promotion. There's every single promotion you can think
There's a
of.
few all women's promotions that nobody knows about. Like Jenny Santana is partial owner of UWW in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, CCW is another one. And all women.
CCW, there's
amazing.
Liberty Pro Women's Wrestling. There's there's so many.
Mission Pro at a
Mission Pro is also.
Mission Pro with
She's doing good stuff, Thunder Rosa. You know.
We had her son on. We had her son on the
Anakin.
podcast. Anakin
nice.
is so nice.
Anakin's a cool kid.
He threw a curveball at us. He did his promo in Spanish, and they came on the screen before the show, like we did before. We were talking. Started talking in Spanish. Went, just kidding. We're like, Geek was. I could see Geek's face all excited, the smile like he had, and then he started talking Spanish, and he was like,
super nice guy though. Super.
It would have flipped the script if he would have came out with me and I'd been like, oh yeah, amigo, ¿cómo estás? ¿Quieres bailar? ¿Quieres tocar en español también? Vámonos.
You'd have been like,
be like, oh man, this flipped the script. Like so it was funny because like I am fluent in Spanish and I had a wrestler who was on the show and he wanted to do his whole interview in English and I was like, yo, but if you want to, we could do it in Spanish and I could just like, I could put a thing at the beginning that's like, hey, like this episode will be in Spanish. And then on the YouTube side, I'll just put in translations, right? So and he was like, no. He's like, this is my first interview I get to do in all English, and I'm going to do it in all English. I was like, okay, bet.
we're actually having on, technically 3 Italian wrestlers this Sunday. Yes, and the girl, the one wrestler, she's like a gothic ballet dancer.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
The other one is like, here we go. If the Undertaker and Kane made a baby, it would be the one, the only.
Okay, I know where you're going.
Yes. I have to find a picture of her, but she is scary. She even wears a mask.
Don't let her hear you say that. I think that will be the end of you.
Yes.
She's that scary.
Yes, her laugh is like something out of a scary movie. And she does not speak English. So her friend that's coming on.
Oh, we're talking. I thought we were talking Mother Endless.
No, oh yeah, Mother Endless. You need Mother Endless too. Oh my God, you need Mother Endless. Mother Endless is awesome. Such a cool, good interview. And we interviewed.
She is scary. Mother Endless is scary.
I'm almost paranoid if I see her in person, if she'll be like, "You guys think that I would talk to you again in person? I don't think so." I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that they have. What's it called? Bloodstorm, I think, would have all evil characters.
Yeah, that's something. See, this is kind of things like I just genuinely love. If I could find if I could find promotions where it's just like you get to be a superhero and you get to ravage it. Like, listen, if there's not a promotion out there, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done, right? But I would love it to be like, like the scene in the Avengers when they're in New York and they're fighting like all of Loki's bad guys coming in. I would love to have like a wrestling show like that where you're in a crowd, but as like you hook like a left, like you're all of a sudden like there's like a giant match going on and you can't really pull away because it's like really cool, but they're like destroying like the area, right? So obviously you can set it up, right? Make it look like a giant city and just like have like the wrestlers like fighting and just tearing down the whole city. And then like you like run because like one of the buildings is like falling and you run into like another room and there's like another match going on.
Oh,
Geek would have a heart attack. Geek would be so happy. He would be like, I don't know what room to go in.
And you're like, yo, where's the Hulk at? I need him to smash this building. And you just have like a dude who is not the Hulk, but it would be like, I don't know. We put out there
like a big dude.
Well, okay, so like a person that I like talking to, O'Shea Edwards, right? Because his name is the Big Bad Kaiju, right? So all of a sudden O'Shea Edwards like runs like a dude like through the wall and just like the building collapses.
Vargas.
Yeah, there you go. Like
Vargas.
So many fun people. I would love to see like Sonny Black, right? Like just pick up another guy and like slam him into a wall and then like pin him for a 3 count and then like that room like goes black and you as the audience you got to move into like another room and then that match starts, right? And so that's how you progress through like these 6 match cards. It's like, but it's like 6 different rooms that just get destroyed. I'm telling you, like that's my idea of like what would be fun to do.
I would have said Tamaku. I would have said a big guy. Do you know who the Savage
Tamaku, oh man, Tamaku is so funny.
Tamaku would be perfect for that because he's so
Yes.
big and he looks so. Do you know who that is?
I the name sounds familiar to me.
His voice. He looks like a scary. He is a scary monster, but his voice sounds like Cookie Monster.
Okay.
He
Nice.
sounds like when he talks. He came on our podcast twice. Once for just a regular episode, and then next one for Metal Geek's birthday.
Yeah, we have to. It's been a long time. We have to invite him back, Joe. Sometime.
You invite him back. He's your favorite wrestler.
He's awesome, dude. He's awesome. He's so fun. Every time we bring him on the podcast, I can't stop because he just kayfabes it up. He just
He's mad at me. He's like mad at the Panther. First time he was all happy about the Panther.
He's so funny. It's like, why are you late, Tamaku? My sundial was broken.
Joe gave me wrong time. Joe knows my sundial don't work that well.
Like he was kayfabing up, and then it's like, and then I forgot. He said something like he heard a phone ring in the background thing. And it's like, I thought you were going by your sundial. Shut up, Panther.
Shut up, Panther. Yeah, you say here.
So, but he's such a funny guy. You need to talk to.
Well, with us, there's like certain episodes we've had that moments have had happened, and some of it made the episode even more exciting. Like the thing with Tamaku, we had last year. It was sad to think this, but we had we were doing the stuff with the Dirty Heels, which are coming back this Friday, and we were doing like predicting matches that we'd love to see, dream matches, and that's a day that New Jack died.
Mm.
And we thought they were just saying because the match we chose, New Jack, R.I.P. New Jack. I'm thinking, okay, maybe that was just a coincidence. And I looked it up, and New Jack died. And then Scott Hall.
Right.
Not the same episode, what episode was that?
I think it was with the Prima Donnas, that episode.
Oh, yeah, the Prima Donnas, they were cool, but I don't know if they really didn't like me. Because no, after the show, apparently,
what's up? No, sorry.
Yeah,
They were pretty fun. They were cool. No, they were cool. So
they're good. They're good to get on the podcast. They're real heels. Oh my god, real heels.
They stick to their characters like really good.
Bet. People ask like, yo, what's like that? My character, it's just me turned up to 1 million. Like I'm way more like crazy.
That's why I hate kayfabe sometimes, because you never know if they're keeping it real or if they're just being their character. And that's I'm like, damn, you guys are good.
Yeah, they were on their phones the whole show, and then they said, "Oh, you didn't know he died?" And we're like, "No, how are we supposed to know he died?" Like
we don't pay attention to our phones when we're on the show.
We try not to. At least I try my best. I do the best I can not to look at
Me
my
and Joe
phone.
never pay attention to our phone. Well, maybe Joe goes on his phone because he's being
Because
rude.
you gotta make sure you're working and seeing people are watching the show and see if anybody's messaging us throughout the like there could be a guest saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If it's someone that's watching and something's going on
It's
and they're
called,
watching,
it's called talk after the show, Joe.
oh, there could be a
Don't be
problem
rude.
with our show, and we don't see it, and you can't see it, and one of us is glitchy, and we can't see it, and you can't see it. What if someone messages us and says, "Joe's camera's glitching, and I have my phone off"? How are we supposed to know?
Mhm.
Right?
There's the chat.
Yeah. That's not always. It's something we don't see and they don't see.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So do you have any upcoming shows or
Yeah, so let's see. This weekend I'm actually going to be at IWA Vintage Pro Wrestling. Next week, what is next week? I'm at 1CW. The week after that, I'm going to be in. Let's see. So Skid Row Academy, I'll be there for IWA. After that, we'll be in Houston, Delaware for 1CW, and then the week after that, I'm going to be a part of HWT part of their promotion up in New Jersey. I think Millsville is where we're gonna be at. So yeah, I got a bunch, and then I'll be that's just for April. In May, I'll be part of HWF over in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. So you guys can catch me over there, and then just kind of like traveling around. I don't know. I try to push up as many dates as many times and places I'm going to be at. I feel like my calendar is like always loaded up. But yeah,
That's
moves.
part of it.
Where can people find you too?
Yeah, so actually I made all my handles like super simple. It is legitimately _RedDog85. And if you guys want to find me on TikTok, you guys can find me on Instagram, you guys can find me on Twitter, all at the same handle. You guys can actually find me on Twitch as well at _RedDog. And then if you guys want to find me on my YouTube channel, it is actually youtube.com/RedDog85. And then you guys can also find me with the 3 Count podcast. So it's either 3 Count Pod or 3 Count _pod. I think that's only for Twitter. And then you guys can find pretty much everything just there. Like I have my own merch store, right, for pro wrestling tees for the 3 Count podcast, whatamaneuver.net for Red Dog. So if you guys want to get this t-shirt, you guys can get it there. Yeah, so just kind of travel I'm just all over the place, I guess.
You've been awesome, Red Dog, this whole podcast, man. You know?
We have to have you come back next time when your co-host is not in school. We could have you both on the podcast and stuff like that.
Listen, if you guys want to take over, that's the person you're gonna have is Chaz and myself. We have way too much fun, like especially because we're probably gonna go. We talked about going live on the 22nd. So full disclosure for all you guys. Now Ancient Ring will be actually turning 2 years old on the 22nd. So we'll be officially on our second year. 3rd season's going on right now. And like I said, if you guys are paying attention, I think the 12th is going to be Trisha Dora's episode that comes out, episode 235. And then prior to that, man, we have RD Mosh is coming out on the 5th. Eel O'Neill's another person that his episode comes out later tomorrow. Actually, I think is the day it comes out. So we have a lot of cool guests that are going to be a part of our show. If you guys want to check out some of the episodes we do have, everybody from Eric Black, Renee Black, you guys can check out Gino Told You So, like I said, Rob Noxious, Matt Silks, Sicken, Ron Holiday, I'm trying to think of just Jason Drake, and there's so many more guests. I mean, we've had over 235 guests on as of Trisha Dora's episode. So you guys can go through, check it out, listen to all of them. Our first guest was Big Trouble Ben Bishop, who's actually like a really good friend of mine. Yeah, so go through, listen. Phil Stamper's also on there too. If you guys haven't had the president of wrestling on, you guys need to have the president of wrestling on. He's definitely super cool. Yeah, so there's lots and lots and lots of guys that we've been able to reach out to, talk to, have good interactions with, and you guys get to check out all the knowledge that it gets dropped on the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Hopefully you can come back in the future. And anyway, we're going to wrap it up right now because I'm Metal Geek.
I'm Joe Panther III.
And I am your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, as always.
And we will catch you in the next one.
Kawaii.
Tomorrow, John's Crazy Socks.
Yeah.